gentlemen, we back with another episode 7. Sheesh. I'm your host, Dione. My partner, Jita, he's running around getting everything ready for his grand opening tomorrow. My other partner, Just, he's doing his thing on the ones and twos. But we have here Miss, wait. I wanted to give her a proper introduction. She's super incredible. Okay, this lady is super incredible. She has done so much for me behind the scenes, and this is why I'm here today. Miss Incredible, Shine.
You know what's so crazy? I was just talking to someone today about that. I said, that has become so much a part of me. I'm like, people don't even call my name. They don't say, "Hey, Keisha."
Look,
it's Shine.
Shine.
But that's my staple,
right.
and I embrace that. I accept that, and I wear it. I wear it proudly.
Look, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna beat you there. You definitely do wear it proudly. So, Miss Shine, what do we have? What's going on with you? I seen that you have the book out.
Yes.
Would you like to tell the audience a lot about it? Because I know it's a lot of things going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
That we need to hear about.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a lifelong educator, almost 30 years in the system, successfully turning around failing schools and districts and making sure that not only our children pass a test, but that our children know that they are loved. Our children know that they are special, that they're gifted, they're talented, and just doing different things with the children and the families within our communities so that they can thrive. Where I am right now in my own personal life is, I'm entering a new chapter. Recently turned 50.
Yeah, the big 5-0. Yeah.
The big 5-0. And listen, you have to celebrate that. And I know, there's lots of folks who were telling me that you're lying. I said, well, listen, that's what my birth certificate says, right? I am 50.
You don't look like you're 50. Let me just tell you. Not at all. But continue.
That's also something else that I embrace, because real talk, growing up the way that we did, to make it, first of all, to be alive is a blessing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To be alive, and then to be whole and well, and to have achieved the things that I've had to achieve through overcoming, right? Circumstances that had nothing to do with me or my family, right? Because it's just societal things, which is why I am who I am today at 50 years old.
And let me tell you, you're amazing again. I'm going to
you.
keep telling you that, and I'm going to keep telling you that.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I appreciate that so much, But I just still want to, I feel like as long as I'm alive, right, then that means there's more for me to do. There's more that God wants for me to do. And I have such a love for our people that my next project is geared towards that, right? Let it go.
Right.
What is it? Whatever is blocking you from fulfilling your highest potential, because each and every one of us are blessed. Each and every one of us have gifts and talents, but society would like to tell you something different.
Definitely.
And wants you to think something different. So when we think about our marginalized communities, when we think about our failing schools, when we think about our prison systems, right, that was done strategically. And so then we as a people have to be strategic with how we combat all of that, right? And so at this level, for me, let it go is about every individual unleashing their leadership potential so that they can unlock their gifts and talents, because things get in the way. Things get in the way. Like I'm not
lifing.
life be lifing, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like things don't matter. Like homelessness doesn't exist, right? Food insecurity doesn't exist. Poverty in and of itself is man-made. So yes, life be lifing, but we have to continue to fight back with everything in us. What you're doing, what your partners are doing, what I'm doing, what OSG is doing, right? Just collectively. It has to be a collective united front to reach as many people as we could possibly reach. And so that's what Let It Go is. At this point in time, it is an ebook, right? Oh, and Amazon bestseller.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Listen.
Woo-hoo. Talk about it.
Who would drop 4 products on their birthday? Because first of all, right? It was my birthday. I was like, listen, I need to do something for my birthday.
Right.
You know, a lot of times people, they'll do like a photo shoot. I was like, nah, I got to do something else, right? Because I am a creative person.
And remember, you know, on your birthday, you get the most attraction on social media.
Yes.
So you released, your release was perfect. It was on point.
Yes, I was like, I wanted to do something, but initially I did not know what I wanted to do, right? And so, you know, I was talking to people that know me, and they just helped me to develop the concept of the first thing that I released was the magazine. Well, the first project that I worked on was the magazine, Leadership Unlimited, which will be dropped every quarter, because I want to focus on dynamic individuals such as yourself, who doesn't necessarily get the accolades from the powers that be, right? Because you're not walking the traditional paths of go to school and do this and do that and you can be successful. It's so many different ways of being,
of course,
that our children don't know exist. And we have to bring that information to them. So Leadership Unlimited was developed because of that, because I am that person too. I was a teen mother. People wrote me off as a teenager. So according to society, I'm not supposed to be sitting here today, right, discussing these things with you.
We're both not.
Right. So Leadership Unlimited is focused on individuals who think outside of the box, who go against the grain, who don't follow the rules. Now, I'm not telling anybody to break any laws, but we do have to advocate for legislation when we know that the laws are not written in our favor.
Right.
Right? We have to be those people to dismantle status quo, because the system is not designed for us to win.
Exactly.
So Leadership Unlimited is going to be devoted to individuals such as yourself, right? Every quarter. But I had to drop it with me because it was my birthday.
Of course. Look, everything revolves around you. So you definitely didn't do anything bad.
It was my birthday. I'm definitely
you have to set the tone. You come first.
Yes, a leader who thinks outside of the box. So it's some of my story, being a teen mom, being, you know, a divorced woman, and just the challenges that I face within my personal life. And how I had to overcome that, right? To be the woman that you see sitting here today. And of course, his leadership tips, because that's what it's about. Like, how do we get to be the best people that we could be for our own selves and our own growth.
Right.
So that was and then of course, you know, I had a little photo shoot done, because I am a fashionista. I am a fashionista, because people sometimes,
again, you set the tone. It starts with you first.
Listen, because once again, I hate for society to try to make you choose. Like, you have to be this or that. Says who?
No. And
Says who?
And that is unfair. But this is why, you know, we have people like yourself, people like myself, that again go against the grave, right? We take on opinions, but then we do what we got to do,
right?
At the end of the day,
right? So listen, I had to throw that in there because I am a fashionista, you know. But as a principal, it was like, she's wearing that dress. Why she want to look cute? Why hello?
You can do.
Why you can't? You could be a fashionable, educated woman as well.
Social media plays such a big part in the daily lives, in our daily lives. So you being a principal and you dress a certain way, that can go viral really, really
Which it
quick.
did.
Really, really quick.
Listen, it did. And guess what? And my school was able to get the resources that we needed.
Exactly.
Because that's what it was all about. Right?
So
There are no such thing as failing schools. It's systems that fail the schools.
Right.
Schools need resources, just like our communities need resources. So even when we say the words marginalized community, again, that's a social construct. It's man-made. You essentially defunded the communities from the necessary resources that they need to thrive.
Right.
Right?
And it's funny. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny that you just said that because I went back to my old neighborhood today, and I just seen so much that can be done within the community. So what I'm gonna do is I started it last week, but I'm really gonna take full responsibility with this, and I'm gonna bring individuals from my old neighborhood and bring them on a podcast.
Nice.
It gives them a platform for them to discuss what they're going through, what their future plans are, and we all have a story to tell, right?
Absolutely.
So, like I was explaining to a gentleman today, you never know who you may gravitate to. You may think that your story is nothing, but to
Right.
the next person, it's this amazing story that motivated them to bettering themselves.
Guess what history is? It's stories. It's someone telling a story from their perspective, right? Which is why the art, because it is an art form, the art of storytelling is powerful.
Right.
Right? It is powerful. And that's also part of what I'm doing with Let It Go, focusing on you, right? And specific strategies that we can implement over 30 days, right? Because once you do it, it becomes habit. But then, of course, I'm going to, at the end of the summer, offer a Let It Go Leadership Masterclass where I'm going to offer extended support to help people with action planning, setting goals, smart goals for themselves, and just following up, monitoring and monitoring their progress, etc. Of course, we know that I can always help people in the school, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And leadership transcends all entities.
Right.
So I could help someone in the any entrepreneurship space, the political space, the nonprofit world, because leadership skill set transcends all careers, right? And all entities. That's the easy part to me, right? And I'm not going to call it a challenge, but what I feel is my calling at this time, if you will, because I think society has it wrong because we think leadership is about a fancy title. And we think leadership is about, I have all of these degrees, and so call me this and call me that. And that's not what leadership is about. That's not what leadership is about.
Listen, everybody wants to be a CEO.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a CEO until they get in that CEO chair and actually have to deal with everything that comes with it. That title floats around daily, right?
A lot.
But the work that has to be put in behind the scene, it shocked me. And how much I had to work, right? But I knew it had to get done because I knew where I wanted to be at in life. So every day is a new cycle.
Yes.
Right? You have to think about something new. How can you progress to the next level? You just can't do the same thing over and over and over again. So that's why I started the podcast.
Right.
To give people that platform to discuss the things that the next person may not know about you. And again, your story may motivate someone else.
Yeah. And listen, and as a, so my title now is Executive Leadership Strategist, because it is about implementing different strategies based on wherever you are, right? And just supporting people along that journey. Because when you think about it, when we think about the sports world, right? Like right now, they went to Game 7. But I said, listen, if the Knicks are not going to be
Lord.
in it, I'm done with basketball.
Oh, Lord.
So I have not watched that series because the Knicks not there. But anyway, when you think about the sports world, right? Any of those folks, they all have coaches, right? So these are people who are performing at their highest levels, right? They're getting paid millions of dollars, to do these great and wonderful things in football and basketball and tennis and boxing, right? All of those people are great in their respective areas, and they still have coaches and trainers and people around them to help them continue to develop. Why do we think we don't need that? Why do we think we don't need that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You still need that. You need a coach. You need a strategist. You need someone you need a think tank, if you will, to help you to continue, right? To grow and develop and prosper in whatever aspect you're trying to do it in.
You was that for me.
Oh.
You was that for me. Let me tell you, the first time that I spoke in a school was in your school.
Really?
And you having that confidence in me to allow me to speak to those kids that day, it was amazing. And not only that, to get offered to come back again, I was like, oh yeah, come on, yeah, let's do it. And not only that, when I had simple things as a coat drive.
Yeah,
you were just one phone call away. That was it. So again, you was that person for me. So this is why I continue, and I will always call you amazing, because you didn't have to do those things, right? But you chose to, and you gave me that motivation to do something else, right? To keep going. So now I look back at these videos like, look, we did this together, we did that. I don't know what she was. I don't know what she was thinking.
This is my first time hearing this, so it's like, I'm still getting testimonials.
These are things that I have to give you flowers for, right? Because again, you took the chance on me, and you allowed me to not only represent you, but to expand my brand in the school. And you see what that has done now.
Yes.
I've met certain people that we're definitely always locked in. So without your trust in me, that would have never happened.
You know what? I think that, again, for me, I believe in God.
Right.
And I just believe that to whom much is given, much is required, right? And we're not here alone. We're not here alone. And that's another reason why I'm doing Let It Go, because a lot of the times when we're starting out or when we're in the process of change, right, we do sometimes move as if we're alone, right? But that also speaks to our trauma.
Right.
Listen, I tell people all the time, if you've lived in this country, you have been traumatized. If you were born here, raised here, lived here, you have been traumatized. So that's for everybody, including me. Please work on your healing journey.
Yeah.
Right? All of us have been traumatized, right? We're not responsible for our trauma, but we are 100% responsible for our healing, right? Because for us to bleed onto other people, that's not acceptable, right? And unfortunately, that's what we see sometimes in our society, right? People are hurting, right? And because they're hurting and they have not dealt with that trauma, they're essentially bleeding onto other people. And so again, like you said, you have this podcast, you want to provide people with the platform. You want to do things, in your old community. I want to do Let It Go to give people that the space to be like, you know what? I'm in the valley, so to speak, right? I don't have it all figured out. I have some semblance of an idea. I need some support. Where do I go?
Well, I think for a person to say, I have it all figured out, I think they're just lying, right? It just
Right.
they live in this little bubble
Right.
where everything is perfect in their world, but in all reality, it's not.
But even to people who, again, who have these titles
Right.
and these degrees, and I have the car, and I have the house, and I have all of the status symbols, right? They don't have it figured out either.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't have it. So you have acquired the societal's, I guess, tokens of success, right? But to your point, when I hear you give me my flowers, right, to me, that's impact. And that's what success is about.
Right.
It's not about me buying 50 million houses unless I'm taking a community of people with me. We're going to invest together in the neighborhood, right? So for me, I don't view success as how much is Lakeasha Williams accomplishing as an individual. To me, I see it as how many people am I able to impact, right? So it's not just for me. It's not just for my granddaughter, right? But it's for as many people as I can possibly reach. And that's the whole premise and concept of Let It Go. So there's the ebook version of it, there's the paperback, and then there's a journal. Because it is a 30-day devotional, you can go through those exercises on your own. I would advise you to, also make sure that you join the Let It Go Leadership Masterclass,
I'm here for
late
everything.
summer. Because, again, I definitely want to create this movement where let's go through the journey together.
Right.
Far too often, we're clapping when people get the awards. We're clapping when people are getting the degrees. We're clapping when people open up their business. But what about the journey? Because you didn't walk in here and everything just magically appeared. There was a journey that you had to go through to open up your spa, right? We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about when our young children from the marginalized communities go away to college, and a lot of times they leave and come back home, not because they're not capable, because our children are more than capable, right?
Absolutely.
But they're not set up with the food plan. They're not set up with a weekly allowance, because some of us think, oh, my kid's going away to college, I'm done. You're not done. They still need an allowance. They need a food plan, right?
Agree.
So again, we don't talk enough about the journey to success. We're here to your grand opening, yay! But who's here helping you patch up the holes and paint and do the floors, and you get what I'm saying? And bring in the chairs and assemble all of these things together.
If a person would realize what you go through, they would appreciate you and the impact a lot more. So I definitely agree.
Right. And that's what I want Let It Go to be. I want Let It Go to be, let's talk about the journey.
Right.
Let's talk about the tears.
Right.
Let's talk about the pain. Let's talk about the betrayal, because those things come with it.
I think now more people are becoming they want to tell their story, right? But you still have some that don't want to say anything. They'd rather stay behind the scene and go through whatever they're going through while trying to obtain this success.
Because we haven't normalized it.
Right.
That's a trauma response. We have not normalized it, right? Because remember, all of us, our ancestors were the enslaved people. We just dropped off in different stops along the route, right? But that is when they talk about generational curses, it's a generational curse, the whole separate and divide, right, mentality, because we're not supposed to unite and come together and do great and wonderful things, right?
I agree.
And so we have to undo that and turn those curses into generational blessings, right? That's right. That's what we have to do. We have to turn that into generational blessings. So we have to be the ones to create this space, like the podcast, to create the space like the Let It Go movement, right? To even, I'm working on, and this is something that's to come too. But I have the real estate investments. I want to get to a point where I'm like, come on, taking a group of people, let's go and buy this plot of land and build on it. Right? We have the mechanisms to do those things today. So even though I'm a fashionista, right, my priorities are in order,
Right.
because we can shop together, we can eat together, we can travel together, but let's invest together.
Of course, that
right?
should be
Let's
the main
support
thing.
each other's mental health together. Let's support the journey together. So if I'm not having a good day, and I embrace my emotions, because
Right.
every day is not a good day.
But that's what makes the process a lot better, because you realize you're human at the end of the day,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you do have human emotions.
Yes.
You're gonna go through it regardless of the fact that you could speak to yourself every day and say, "Look, listen, I got this. But it's still an emotion that you're gonna go through, right? So for you to have that support system, it means a lot.
It does. It does. And unfortunately, when you are, due to the history of America, right, many of us are still first generation to do so many things. So we're learning, right? We're learning. And so it's important for us to create the spaces, such as the Let It Go movement, such as OSG that you know about, such as BU, another organization that I'm a part of. Like, we have to create those spaces that are inclusive, because every organization is not inclusive.
Right.
It is what it is, right? But to create those inclusive spaces so that we can impact as many people as possible. Because some of us, would have it where it's like, okay, I got my degrees, I got my title, I got the good job, I'm good.
I'm fine,
That's
yeah.
done, right? But then there are some of us who are like,
Who look at the bigger
nah.
picture.
Right. Like, it's about the collective growth of our people.
But that I believe that's where everything. If you build a solid team, and like I was explaining to you right before the podcast. So my goal is to take people from, my team, people from over here to Dubai,
Yes.
to create an income for them out there. I personally think that is amazing.
It is.
Because you really don't hear people talking about things of that nature.
No, you
right?
don't.
So for me to be able to do something like that, I go through it just like anybody else again, but I pat myself on the back,
Yes.
because that is going to be one of my biggest accomplishments.
Yes.
And that, to me, is success, where I can put funds into my team's pockets, and while enjoying themselves in another country or in another state. So that right there,
That's amazing in and of itself, and I think that, and I'm glad that you shared that experience of going to Dubai, because that's what it is also, right? A lot of the times where, even if we're not in the prison system itself, mentally we're in prison.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because we don't understand that there are different ways of being. Right? So when people say, oh, that's just the way it is, that's the hood, that's the block. No, it's not. Like, your block and your hood is not the world. Right? There are different ways of being, but our brain is such a powerful thing, which is why, being an educator working with children, and I was at the elementary school level, and because sometimes people would say, oh, how come you're not at high school? You do all of these things. I said, no, because you got to build that strong foundation.
Right.
Right? That foundation has to be there. Our babies have to know that they are loved. That's first and foremost, right?
Especially coming from the communities we were coming from.
Yes, they
right?
have to know that they're loved, and they have to know that they possess their own unique set of gifts and talents. And then we have to provide them with the experiences, because then that expands their brains.
Of course.
Right? Into knowing that, oh, I can do this and I can do that, because you're providing them with the personal experiences. It's not enough for them to see Jay-Z and Beyonce and whoever, you know,
Right,
of
on
their
TV,
generation,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Whoever
on
they
TV.
see on TV. That's not enough for us. We, as the way our bodies are designed, we have to experience it, right? So even when you say, listen, I want to take them to Dubai, once you take them there, that's going to
So,
open up their minds to so much more. And that's why being an educator, for me, no, it was not just about children passing the test. How many experiences am I going to give to them so that they know that there are multiple ways of being? Let me tell you something. I had children as young as 5 years old taking entrepreneurship classes because I didn't want my children, because I called my school babies were my children too.
oh, I know.
Right?
I know.
And for me, it was not about when they grow up, what are they going to do? No, when you grow up,
Right
what
now.
problem are you going to solve? What is it that you see that's happening in our society today that you could figure out a way to solve it? Like, you want to solve that problem. We can have conversations with our children today about real life stuff to get them on that path of critical thinking skills and being advocates for themselves, right? And being victorious and not victims.
Absolutely. Go ahead, preach, girl, preach. No, but you
Listen, when I start talking, I just I feel like this is me.
I gotta let you.
know?
I gotta let you speak because look, the next person that's gonna see this is gonna be able to relate to you.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah, that's Sean. I already know how she is. So you venting and you expressing yourself is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But you do have a point because I remember when I was growing up, I didn't have someone to guide me in the proper way like we have now, right? Obviously resources wasn't up to date as it is today. So the teachers, they just wanted to get you out of there, right? Come into school, get you out. But now in this society, now we offer so much more, right? Now we can put them on a platform such as a podcast, or take them to an OSG event or a golf game, you know, different things of that nature, which it opens up their minds.
Yes.
Like, okay, listen, this person doesn't have to do anything for me, but she's choosing. He or she is choosing, right? And they're not my parents,
Right.
but they're still taking the time out, their time, to help me. So I agree with you 100%. So, boy mom. I love her son, first and foremost. He's a great person. He's a wonderful person. How was your experience being a single mother? You don't tell it all because you got some in the book.
Because you got to buy the magazine, the Leadership Unlimited magazine, and then you have to buy the Let It Go materials.
Don't spread everything. Don't get the juice out, but just give a little sprinkle.
Just a little bit. I would not, advise anyone to take the path that I took, but it's my journey, it's my story, and it's what has made me who I am today. And I'll tell anyone, right? Like, I have 2 sons and they're both adults, and I'm like, yes, I'm their mother, but those are legit my best friends, right? Because again, we need love, right? We need love more than anything else. And although I was a young mother, I had enough poured into me from my parents to be able to say, you know what? Not my boys, right? Not my boys. And I am going to say this because it's a podcast, So I tell people all the time, we went from ABCs and 1, 2, 3s to college degrees and LLCs.
You heard that right there. That's a jewel right there.
I need to be studied.
No. Let it all out, girl. Let it all out.
Because people are always asking me, how, why?
Right.
You're like, what keeps you going? Like, what's your why? And how? Like, how did you do it all? First and foremost, like I said before, I believe in God, and I give Him, all praises, and I'm thankful and grateful and appreciative for all of His grace and mercy over my life and my son's life. But because of, and I say this to people, right? My parents did not have a lot of money. Listen, we grew up in East New York, Brownsville, and Bed-Stuy, right? So during a crack epidemic, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
At one point, we lived next door to a crack house.
Right.
So it's real.
Right.
But you know what? But my parents, although they didn't know what we should do, they just knew that our lives had to be different. So what I tell people is my parents gave us hope. That's what they gave us. Working as a principal in the schools with young children, it is sad when children have given up hope. And again, I'm a social-political person. When you look at all of the societal ills that we have, it's because people have given up hope, right? So that is a powerful thing. And I believe that because I was raised not to be like I was better than anyone else, but they wanted me to be better than those circumstances, right? And so they gave me the power of hope. And although I was a teen mom, I still knew that I had to be different. And I wanted different for my boys. First, my first son.
Right.
And then later on when I was in college, I had my second son. But I knew that their lives had to be different. And I raised them to let them know that, listen, nobody gets to define you, because society loves to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Black boy living in housing, black mother, teen mother, divorced woman. Like, society likes to put these labels on you and then say, this is who you are. And like I told my sons, nobody gets to define you. You define you. And that's how I live my life. You that's why you can't tell me, well, if you're a principal, you should look like this and you should move like that. Says who? You don't get to define me. I define me. And that's how I define my life, right? You don't get to make the rules for me. I make my own rules of who I am and how I show up in this world and who God has called me to be, not you. And some people can't take that, but it's okay.
That's why we got the magazine. Let it go.
That's why we got the magazine.
Let it go, baby. They gonna learn today.
They gonna learn today. Right? Join the master class in the end of the summer.
Yes.
I'm gonna help you learn to let it go.
Right now. Matter of fact, join right now. The link will be provided before and after.
Yes, because I am going to, obviously I'm going on tour now,
wow.
promoting.
No, that's
promoting,
amazing.
This is part of it.
No,
right?
no.
Just sharing.
Yes, but
Leadership Unlimited magazine. And like I said, I am also scouting for people to highlight and for the next quarter. Because this is the movement. Like, I'm not stopping, right? But that's coupled with let it go. Because we still have to improve as a people. And so my mission is empowering change one bold leader at a time. Right? Because it has to be us within our individual spaces, within our communities, to ensure that we're thriving.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
once we have a community that's doing well, then that means the schools are doing well. Right? And everything in that community can be better, but it's going to take us, and it is going to take a movement.
It starts with us first. Yes, I agree with that. That's why we got Let It Go again. And Sunday we have the OSG event.
Yes.
If for those that don't know who OSG are, it's a group of principals as well as entrepreneurs. About 500 right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right. So OG stands for off school grounds, and we help motivate each other. We do a lot of things for the community.
Yes, yes.
Dennis is amazing, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Right? Dennis is the CEO of the OSG movement, and that man does a lot for everyone as well as the community.
Yes.
So he has we have an event Sunday, right?
It's Saturday and Sunday.
But you're not going to be there.
No, I'm not going to be there Saturday, but the event is still Saturday. Because listen, y'all, I'm still celebrating my 50th.
As you should. It should be all month.
All year.
All
It's a Jubilee.
You'll get 50 again. Get it once, so celebrate it.
Yes,
as much as you can.
But yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday. Yes,
and,
fundraiser event.
And there's how many people is gonna be there? What?
I don't know the last numbers, but I know every year that they do it, it's an amazing turnout. But again, it also exemplifies what we can accomplish when we decide to come together and work together. Yes. Because it's crazy how Dennis is really the glue for everybody else. He's really the glue for everybody else. He brought everybody together.
He texted me yesterday. He said, "You better make sure you're here Sunday." I said, "No problem. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be there Sunday. No problem. I don't want no type of problems with you, Dennis." But yes, like you said, Dennis is the glue to this, and I can speak for myself, and I think I could speak to you when I say he's amazing for doing that.
Absolutely.
Right? Because again, he doesn't have to do that.
No.
But that is him. That is embedded in him. So
one bold leader at a time.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
And so we want to replicate that as many times over as we possibly can. You know, the Dennis McKeeseys of the world, right? The Dionis of the world, the Shine of the world, your daughter, my granddaughter, Serenity. Like, we have to do more of that. We know that other factors do exist, right? We're not ignoring that. However, in spite of that, we still have to band together so that we can address what needs to be addressed and still work on our improvement as a people.
As an individual, yeah. Her granddaughter, by the way, had her own nail polish in the spa.
Yes, Serenity nail polish.
Yes. Come on, we got clap it up.
Serenity nail polish.
She sold out immediately. Hey, it was a great turnout. We got to get her back on the show. We're gonna get her back
matter
here.
Matter of fact, what we said we want to do, we also want you can help us with that too. Like we said, we want to, go like on tour because it's 3 generations.
Why not?
It's 3 generations. Myself, Jasmine, and Serenity. It's 3 generations, right? Educated, entrepreneurs, community driven. Because I know you see Serenity out there working too. She's 8 years old. She's working too.
I DM Jasmine. I say, "Great job, Jasmine. I see you working. I see you."
Yes, it's 3 generations of, but that's how you get to legacy.
Right.
That's how you get to legacy. That's how we help our children to know that there's different ways of being, right? And so we're doing it together. And you don't really see that. So 3 generations. So we definitely got to come back.
Season 2, baby. Season 2.
Season 2, you'll see 3 generations.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Own personality, but just one goal.
Yes.
One goal.
Yes.
So you want to tell the great people where to find your amazing magazine at? Because this got to sell out really, really fast.
Yes. So the digital products are on Amazon, right? They're on Amazon. You could go through my website, www.brickhouseunlimited.com. The products are listed there as well because there's also a waiting list, right? Because remember, this is just the beginning. There's going to be the Let It Go Leadership Masterclass coming in August. and I'm developing that wait list now for that masterclass that's coming. But yes, make sure you, and I'm also scouting for different leaders, right? Courageous leaders, bold leaders to spotlight in the next quarter of Leadership Unlimited, because collectively we are going to make sure that we empower one another so we can see the necessary changes that we need to see within our community. So that is my website, but you can also follow me on Instagram at coach_shine on Lakeasha. That's Lakeasha.
You heard it for yourself. The link will be provided, as well as the magazine cover on this episode. So definitely tune in and grab your magazine once she releases it.
The magazine is released, so all of the products are released. They was released on my birthday, June, which was my official birthday is June 11th.
Go grab it now. Go grab it now.
Go get it now. So it's out now. It's the magazine, Leadership Unlimited, and then it's Let It Go. So it's the Let It Go ebook version, it's the paperback version, and it's the Let It Go journal, right? Where if you want to embark on just like your own individual reflections, you can do that as well. So those are the 4 products, that I dropped on June 11th.
That you're going to grab now. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you.
And definitely follow her on Instagram for more information. And definitely just take the time out to DM her. It doesn't hurt, pride has a lot to do with pride and ego, right? Have a lot to do with a person's blessing, right? We need to acknowledge that in order to get to that next level, we have to let certain things go.
Absolutely.
Right? So whether that be being afraid just to send a message out to a person like yourself or a person like me for help. It's not going to help. It's always going to help you.
Yes.
In the long run. It's not going to help you. And we're here to help.
Absolutely.
Especially with the 4 amazing drops, the release that you released on your birthday. Yes, you are definitely here to help. And let me tell you, she has helped me to this point and beyond. So again, I have to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
You're super appreciated. And again, we're gonna have the 3 generations on season 2.
Season 2.
So that's a wrap. Episode 7. Out of here.